Okay, now the movement in the flatworm, he's very ribbon-like. I'm going to put a video up in just a minute to show you something about the flatworm, but the way they behave is they're in their body wall. They do have some muscles, and so remember that's mesoderm. And what they do is they use these cilia located on the underside, the ventral side, that beat back and forth. But when they contract the muscles, they have a ribbon-like undulating movement. It's really very pretty to watch and very cool. But you'll see more when I post this video of actually their type of movement. But because they do have mesoderm, they do have muscles in the body wall. Now, their reproduction is kind of crazy. They can reproduce through regeneration, which we'll talk about in a second, but they can also reproduce sexually. They're hermaphrodites. So we know that if they're hermaphrodites, they have both the male and the female sex parts in the same animal. But the way this happens is you have two different flatworms and they actually exchange sperm. But this is a process called penis fencing. Now, I know this sounds crazy and you can't make this stuff up, but all flatworms have a penis. And so when it comes time to reproduce or mate, who decides who is going to be the male into this and who's going to be the female? So they undergo this very dramatic, it can last up to an hour, type of ritual called penis fencing. And whoever wins, they try to stab each other. It's sort of a double-headed appendage. And so they try to stab each other. And when one gets to stab the other, he deposits the sperm. And of course, that one is the male. And the reason is because the male loses all responsibility. He doesn't have to do anything anymore. And of course, the other one that has to accept the sperm from the male is going to end up having the baby. So it's the craziest of all reproductive so-called dances, because it is sort of a choreographed sort of display in the animal kingdom. So, you know, after we go through the asexual part, I'm going to post a YouTube video actually showing you how this occurs. It's really very different. All right, now your free-living flatworms, they can reproduce asexually by regeneration. So it's showing you here how you can cut the body in half if you have a cross section, and so they're showing you that it can grow another body. However, like I told you, you can take, and we used to do this in the lab, take a razor blade and cut him longitudinally between the two eye spots, and then this side produces a head and this side produces a head. And then on this head, you can cut between the eye spots and it produces two more heads. In a lab period of time, you can at least get 4 heads, and sometimes by the next day, if you keep it up, you can get as many as 8 heads. And it's one of the things that colleges love to do, because every time I go to buy them, they always say that planaria is sold out, because colleges will have you do this when you're covering flatworms. So it's a extremely quick, and it is the asexual form of reproduction, and the sexual form is going to be the penis fencing, which I'm going to show you a video on.